We're in 24 markets globally in terms of having the programmatic capabilities and having our trading desk there. I think two things that I'm seeing happen as it relates to video in particular is one, the integration of our programmatic offering into the core Carat offering as well. So as opposed to having that sit standalone and being treated as a supplier, being very much part of the capability of the agency. I think the second piece of this where I'm really seeing it start to grab hold is looking at it from an integrated screen planning standpoint. So as opposed to just looking at how do we buy digital video in a more effective or efficient way, how do we start to thinking about the holistic view of video in terms of what's the right level of impressions that we're trying to gain through traditional TV, and how do we complement that with digital video?
How do you see the future of TV, and how do you see it as an opportunity for brands?
So I think, we look at that in a couple of different ways, right? There's obviously content, there's distribution, and then there's data, as we think about those different things. So content, there's more premium content than there's ever been before, and you can see things like Disney acquiring, maker studios. And so, I think we're going to start to see big networks looking at some of these new content players and being able to embrace those content players to start to transform the way they think about connecting with consumers. I think we start to look at data, right, and we're starting to see different forms of data. So where something like Nielsen may have had sort of a command of the currency by which we trade, there's new data that's turning up that's giving us the ability to actually look at the value of different properties in a different way for clients. And then ultimately distribution is changing. So you talked about Netflix and Roku and Apple TV, and we need to then start to understand, all right, how are consumers actually responding to and engaging with that content, and how do we think about not necessarily planning around linear television or digital video, but how do we become content planners, and how do we think about the content that's important for clients and particularly consumers, and how do we reach those consumers regardless of the platform that they're engaging in that content. So that fundamentally will start to change the way that we plan and the way that we negotiate and buy.